What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Gym Vlog and Lifestyle series that we've been doing. Before I go any further, be sure to check out my linked Instagram where I post 6 days a week of the workouts I'm currently doing. Check that out so that you guys can stay daily up to date and kind of see the progress a little bit more frequently as we're going through it. All right, so let's jump right into this. This week was a fairly successful week in terms of health and gym going and all of those things. I've been sticking to pretty much the same routine. We're still doing push, pull, leg days, or legs and shoulders, I should say. And I do that rotation twice a week. So each week, the muscle groups are getting worked twice a week. That's kind of the design behind that. So, in terms of the workouts this week, I'm starting to feel much more comfortable with the workouts that I'm doing, which is fantastic. It is. I'm sure some of you guys out there watching this can relate. It is so difficult to stay in the gym when you've been in the gym before, had a very good routine, and where I was much more physically fit than I am now, and then through a series of poor decisions, ended up not going to the gym for a long period of time. But I still remember how it felt when I was looking good, feeling good, and lifting regularly, and it doesn't feel like that right now. And it hasn't. This is now the end of week 4. So I have now been a month back in the gym, 6 days a week, for about 1.5 to 2 hours a day. And it is just now starting to feel like it did. It's starting to, not like anywhere close to how I felt at the peak. And that is just so tough, because I'm sure if you guys have watched any other fitness information, especially in the bodybuilding world, there is this term called the mind-muscle connection, right? The idea that you want to be able to focus your senses onto the specific muscle group or groups that you're working. That is not an easy thing to come by for me. That's one of the things that it took a very long time for me to learn over the course of my gym going experience. And what I believe is the reason that it took so long is because your body is not used to being targeted in such a way. And if you think about it in terms of our lives, it's actually a little bit unnatural for you to target areas and muscles of your body like that. Because in regular life, all the way throughout our history, it's compound lifting, right? Which is much more akin to Olympic lifting or powerlifting. It's this compound movement where you're using a lot of your muscle groups simultaneously, as opposed to where you're trying to isolate a very specific part of your bicep as you do a curl, right? So when you analyze that data that way, it can be perceived as being an unnatural way to do things. So when you start out or are restarting, as I am, and you do a movement that you've had a mind-muscle connection with before, but you can't feel it now, it's extremely discouraging. And I think the reason for that is your body has to get reaccustomed or accustomed to not treating it like a compound movement. Your body itself has to learn we're not using every muscle for this. We're using 1 or maybe 2 muscle groups, and that's it, okay? So that's really, really difficult for my mentality and physicality to relearn. And it still doesn't happen on every movement that I do. There are still tons of movements where all I feel like I'm doing is moving weight. I'm not feeling a big connection in my muscle groups or anything like that. And I know that will come as I continue to get more comfortable in the weight ranges, the rep ranges, and stuff like that I'm working in. So that it is encouraging to start feeling that little bit of progress, but it is also severely discouraging that I've been in the gym now for a month and I am just now beginning to feel that and understand that again. So, but again, we're not quitting. We're chasing dreams out here. So we're going to get back in it. Today is my off day. That's when I record these vlogs. So tomorrow we're going to get back in it, which, you know, sometimes it feels like a lot. I'll let you guys in on it. Sometimes, you know, the one off day I have, I do a lot of video editing and stuff like that. So it really doesn't feel like an off day sometimes, but we get her done, son. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. So in terms of the gym this week, we moved up in weight in a couple of different exercises. Got back under the squat bar. Here's a big one. Got back under the squat bar for the second week now in a row. Okay, so last week I got under the squat bar for the first time in probably 9 months to a year, maybe. Been a long time since I've been underneath the squat bar. And squatting for me, while I enjoy it, is a very delicate exercise for me because I always feel the imbalances in my body in a very real and palpable way when I'm under the squat bar. I know I talked about it in a previous video about how I've broken collarbones and stuff like that. And I was in the Army for 4 years, so my hips and my knees aren't as fantastic as they could be. So when I get under a squat bar, all of those things play in at the same time. So for me to do squats effectively and well and to target the muscles I want to target, I have to be overly confident underneath that bar and with whatever's weight that's on it. I have to know exactly where my feet need to go, because if my feet and my knees and my hips aren't following a pattern that's comfortable for my body, it's going to be a miserable experience the whole way through. If my core isn't locked in a specific way, then my upper body's going to fluctuate. That's going to cause the weight to shift. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff that goes into me successfully being able to squat. And last week, I got under the squat bar for the first time, and it was a manageable experience. There was no heavy weight on the squat bar. It was really just form and just trying to get used to weight being on my shoulders again and stuff like that. This week, I got back onto the squat bar and felt so much better. Again, not super heavy weight. I don't even think I cracked 200 pounds on the squat bar. So don't go back onto my Instagram and expect to see like 3 plates. That's not happening anytime soon. Hopefully we get there, but that's not happening right now. And really just, I felt the form was pretty good. The body path felt very, very natural, very, very comfortable, which is a huge thing for me. And I was really focusing on ensuring that I got depth. So felt really, really good. And so that was a big success for this week, was being able to get back under that squat bar and really feel like I had made progress from one week to the next. So that was a really positive thing this week, and I'm very, very happy with that. And right now, the goal is to squat 1 leg workout a week. I'm not to the point where I want to get under the squat bar twice in the same week yet, just because I like to break it up a little bit. I like to do like the squat. What I'm doing right now is squat bar on my first leg day, which in terms of my schedule right now is Monday's my first leg day. I do the squat bar as my compound movement for legs, but then I do hack squats on Thursdays as my compound movement for legs. So, and I use hack squats as kind of a gauge of where I need to put my feet, because the path is very similar on a hack squat, at least in my opinion. Your upper body moves a little bit more on a standing squat bar, but that helps me visualize where I need my feet to be and where I want my knees and my hips to travel to and stuff like that, so I feel comfortable underneath the squat bar. So again, that was a big success for this week. I was very happy with that. I was very happy that I felt good coming out from underneath the squat bar, not like, well, I did it kind of a thing. So, and I think I'm down. Last I weighed in, I was 230. So I'm down to 228, I believe. 228 and a half. My weight's been fluctuating a little bit, unfortunately, just because I'm not on a super healthy, strict diet at the moment. I am on a diet. I eat the same 3 things throughout the day, and some of it is okay, and some of it is less than okay. But right now, I'm just focusing on getting back into routines and all of those things. And I'm fairly certain that I've put on a little bit of muscle as well as having lost some weight, because physically the people around me have noticed a little bit of a change in my body type. So it may just be that I'm not seeing the weight loss that I want to see, because I'm also putting on muscle kind of at the same time, and I'm not losing weight at a super rapid pace either. It's not that I'm dropping 5 pounds or 6 pounds of fat a week. We're not anywhere close to that. So I might be losing 1 or 2 pounds of body fat over the course of 2 weeks, and then putting on, the equivalent weight in muscle, or close to the equivalent weight in muscle right now. Not even in mass, but probably just in density. So, anyway, all that to say, in terms of the gym itself, it was a pretty solid week. Much less shoulder problems this week, too, which is great, because I hate having to deal with shoulder problems throughout the week. Last week, when I got done with my second shoulder day, I think I told you guys about this. Because it was the week that it was the Thanksgiving week and all that other craziness. So my shoulders were so tight and sore the next day, and not like muscle soreness, just like uncomfortable position soreness, that I didn't go and do the third leg day that I was supposed to do. And this week, after having got done with my leg and shoulder day today, I'm much better. Now, my shoulders are still tight and a little bit sore. Clearly, they've been worked out. But it's not to where I'm unable to put my arms in certain places because my shoulders are that uncomfortable. Okay. So that's also a really good thing. So again, we're starting to see little bits and pieces of progress as we go. So I think that just about covers the gym part of this week. And yeah, I don't think there's really anything else I want to cover with you guys in terms of what it's like to be in the gym, other than the fact that, man, I want a new gym. Whew. Here's a goal. Let me put this out for you guys, everybody out in the ether. One of the things that I want, if this stuff works out and anything ends up happening from this, one of the first things I think I'm going to do is I'm going to buy a storage unit or a warehouse somewhere and do my own private gym. Oh my goodness. I cannot tell you how happy I would be. And I'm not the person who needs top of the line, high end, ultimate blah, blah, blah equipment. No, I will buy used stuff from closed down gyms, all that. But going to commercial gyms it's just a trip, man. Anyway, that's a whole different video, so we'll leave that where it is and continue on with our discussion. So anyway, that's all I want to go over with you guys about the gym itself. Now, let's dive into the other part, which is diet. Woo! Oh, also, alert, I am no longer stimulant-free. I know I talked about doing that a couple weeks in a row because I was having trouble with nausea as it related to the pre-workout I was taking. I am trying now a new pre-workout. It is not anything fancy. I bought it from Walmart just because I needed something to kickstart me going to the gym. And it's been working okay. I still get a little bit of nausea, and that just may be diet-related, to be honest. I'm not entirely sure, but it's definitely helped. Helped me get through the gym, helped me focus a little bit more and do a little bit more in terms of volume. So, excuse me. All in all, I feel like it's a good decision, and we're sticking with it. So, now, on to the diet half of things, okay? And this is where things don't get as peachy as they could be. So, I am currently eating 4-ish meals a day, okay? Again, I'm not trying to bulk. I'm not necessarily trying to cut. Right now, I'm just trying to maintain so I can start seeing a little bit of progress before we break into the super intense stuff maybe 3 or 6 months down the road. So for breakfast, I do 2 eggs, 2 scrambled eggs, and a nice hot beverage. I prefer tea, honestly, but to each their own. And caffeine free, because I do go to the gym relatively early in the day. I leave at 9:45 to be at the gym by about 10. So I don't want to do like coffee caffeine and then do pre-workout caffeine and then try to go to the gym. That's just too much because I have a very low caffeine intake in terms of the entire day. Pre-workout's the only caffeine I'm getting in. So we do breakfast in the morning and a hot beverage. And then I will take my pre-workout and go to the gym. I start taking my pre-workout at about 9:15 so that when I leave at 9:45, it's about 30 minutes, and I can start to feel the effects of that pre-workout by the time I am arriving at the gym. And then I work out from 10 to noon, give or take. Now, I will say this. It is not that I am in there doing set after set after set after set for 2 hours. I'm in there and I have a specific set of exercises I want to get through, and however long it takes me to get through those exercises with the weight range and the rep range that I want, that's how long I'm there for. So sometimes I get in there and I'm out by 11:15. Sometimes I'm in there and I get out by noon. It just depends on how I'm feeling in terms of tempo. Because, again, when I want that mind-muscle connection in the gym, so I want to be able to focus on what I'm doing and where it's supposed to be feeling good. And if I'm just going set, one after the other, I feel as though I start losing that connection and I'm just throwing weight around. So about 10 to noon, I'm at the gym. And I come home and I make lunch. And lunch, this is probably the least ideal meal over the course of the day that I'm eating, is... I lost my train of thought. There we go. Is ramen and chicken. So just ramen noodles, your basic plastic pack that costs 30 some odd cents or something like that. And then probably like half of a chicken breast. And that's lunch with probably a sauce, like a barbecue or a buffalo sauce that I can drizzle over the chicken. And it's just baked, oven-baked chicken. It's nothing fancy. And then, so that's about noonish to 1. And then at 4, I get hungry again, but it's not early enough for like a dinner. So what I've been doing right now is I literally just throw I'll cook a whole bunch of hamburger patties throughout on the weekend. I'll just throw a hamburger patty in the fridge. I will take a hamburger patty out of the fridge, throw it in the microwave, and just make a literal single hamburger and just pound that down, as opposed to a protein bar or something like that. Because surprisingly enough, hamburgers, when you buy them in bulk and stuff like that, are cheaper than their protein bar counterpart. So, that's, anyway, not that you needed that information. And then for dinner, at about 7:30-ish, give or take, somewhere around there, is right now it's mostly pasta. A whole wheat pasta with some sort of meat and sauce. It varies. Sometimes it's chicken, sometimes it's beef, sometimes it's marinara, sometimes it's Alfredo. It just kind of varies. That's the one where it's like, it's the end of the day, I'm trying to wind down, things of that nature. So I kind of just try to pair things together in that pasta dish that I'm enjoying eating. The rest of the meals throughout the day are exactly the same. There is no variation. It is 2 eggs for breakfast, ramen and chicken for lunch, burger at 4. So there's no variation with those 3 meals. So to throw in a little bit of variation at the end, I kind of just, But again, it is not the most intense or, I'm not Chris Bumstead in his prep. That's not where I'm at all. I'm not clean bulking, or dirty bulking, or cutting. None of those things. I'm just focusing on eating enough to not be hungry without overdoing it. That's a portion control is a big thing for me right now. That's why I only have 2 eggs in the morning as opposed to like 4. Because your boy's breakfast. Here's just a slight look into what was and what is. Okay, my breakfasts probably as recent ago as 3 to 4 months were can't believe I'm going to say this out loud, were 2 to 4 eggs, okay, 2 sausage patties, bacon, biscuits and gravy, and then like orange juice or something, sugar water, okay. That was how I would start my day. With 4 eggs, which, okay, the eggs, admittedly, not the worst part of the meal, but still, the portion is massive. 4 eggs, 2 sausages, and this is just like Walmart. This is not like ground sausage that might have some nutritional content. No, this is prepackaged bull crap that has like the nutritional content of a Snickers bar, okay? 2 pieces of bacon, or 4. I mean, really, the bacon was just like, how much do you feel like making today? That much. Which, again, no health content. Biscuits and gravy. Okay? Biscuits have nothing but carbs and calories in them. And I'm pretty sure gravy is just flour, which is just more carbs and calories. Anyway, and to top it all off, orange juice, which, unless you are literally eating it out of an orange, is just orange-flavored sugar water. That is how I would start my days. Man, just even looking at that, I can't believe I did that to myself, man. But anyway, and so now, to be starting my day with just 2 eggs in the morning, that's a big departure from what it used to be. So, I don't want you guys to think that I do not care about my diet at all, because I do. I'm just trying not to do too much too early on to where I tank myself and don't ever want to go to the gym or eat healthy again, and we have to start this whole cycle over, which is what we've been doing up until this point. So it's important to ensure for me that I'm doing the incremental steps and working towards a whole goal eventually, rather than, creating this massive meal plan and massive workout plan that I cannot deviate from, that is extremely restrictive, and then 2 weeks in being like, I can't do this anymore. I haven't had flavor in 14 days. I'm going to go to McDonald's or something, and just completely ruining everything. So there's a little bit of kind of the journey that I've been on so far. So again, not a restrictive diet right now, not anything super crazy healthy. I'm not having fish and rice and chicken and rice and then, lean beef and rice for 3 meals a day or something like that. That's not what's happening right now. So I think that's going to be it for this episode. I think that's all I want to cover with you guys. Thank you for tuning in. I enjoy recording these because this is a great way for me to be able to go back through my week and pick out the positives and negatives of what's happened. And sometimes that's hard to do when you're in the moment. When you're having a really tough workout and things aren't going your way, you focus on that. But then I'm 2 or 3 days now beyond that, and I'm looking back on my week in terms of eating and working out, stuff like that, and being able to be like, okay, it wasn't as bad as I made it out to be in the moment. So I enjoy recording these just because it's also a different format. It's a little bit longer, a little bit more of my ability to kind of dial in with you guys about what's going on and what's working and what's not, stuff like that. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in and keeping up with the series. I am also on both Instagram and Twitter now. Twitter is just I think there's like 2 posts a day there of direct links to the YouTube videos that go live. So if you don't want to turn alerts on YouTube for one reason or another, you can follow me on Twitter, and you'll get an alert every time a post goes live on Twitter. Instagram, there's a little bit of cross-posting there as well. Not a ton, but there's a little bit of cross-posting there as well, where you just get a link or an alert on my story for the Breakfast with the Viking series that I do. And then, of course, 6 days a week, you get a quick episode, a little series of workouts that go on throughout the week. So All right. Thank you so much. As always, I'm your host, the American Viking. Tune in next time and have a great day.